it is now my honor to introduce our next speaker, retired United States Coast Guard Captain Martha LaGuardia Kotite. Her message is be bold, be first, be you. And her bold leadership style empowered her to be one of the very first female officers to serve and lead aboard 2 U.S. Coast Guard cutters with all-male crews patrolling the Pacific and Atlantic and down in the Caribbean seas. She remained true to herself while changing the rules of engagement. She rised, like I said, to the level of captain, which is 1 rank below admiral for those that don't know. And now she's an experienced TEDx keynote speaker. She's using her own sea stories. She is a prolific author. I believe it's 5 books, right, Martha? And she is out there sharing her messages and motivating and inspiring people across this country. So it is my great honor to introduce Martha as our next speaker.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for that great introduction. And I'm so delighted to be a member of this esteemed group. And my thanks to each of you who zoomed in today from around the United States and even overseas. That's so exciting to see you on board with us. I am an empowerment enthusiast. I help redefine what a person can be and can do. Ever since I lost my older brother to suicide when I was in high school, I've been motivated to make a difference. If I could in some way, my goal was to save lives and empower others. So today I do this being an author of 5 books, including one called So Others May Live, about Coast Guard rescue swimmers. They're amazing, incredible, extraordinary missions with the air crew that they serve with to save lives. I do this being a TEDx speaker, an advocate of nature, the oceans, and of life. And I do this talking about suicide prevention. And I do this as a proud veteran of the United States Coast Guard, having served my country for over 29 years at sea and ashore. So for business, why is empowerment important? For dealing with change or the storm that we are in now? The data shows us empowerment is essential for a person's vigor, for their dedication to work, to their job. And empowerment leads to personal wellness and satisfaction. And even better, it also leads to fun. Empowering leaders are more effective at influencing creativity. And now more than ever, I think we can agree we need to focus on what comes next, and business will have to be reinvented. So it takes empowering leaders who are more likely to be trusted, to help influence employee performance in a positive way and empower their people to think outside the box. So my presentations help teams realize their potential, what they can be and can do. I love empowering people and businesses to redefine themselves and help them weather the storm. One of my presentations is called Leading Your Crew Through Calm and Turbulent Seas. And as Jay mentioned, I've been on a few boats, so I know about turbulent seas, but also in a sense, I think today we all recognize that we are all in the same storm, just not in the same boat. So from my decades of service at sea and ashore, dealing with the aftermaths of hurricanes, events of national significance, oil spills, and even mass migrations where people were migrating, fleeing their countries for America on anything they felt could float for freedom here. So I infuse all that I've learned from my frontline experiences and the lessons that I've learned, along with my stories that I've written about these extraordinary men and women. One of my books, in fact, is called Changing the Rules of Engagement. It's a collection of stories of military women who, because they were empowered, redefined what women can do in a male-dominated environment. They were courageous, they were brave, and they had mentors who did not look like them. So I pull from my collection of stories and my career leadership lessons to create another presentation called Creating a Culture of Empowerment. Be bold, be first, and be you. These are my personal rules of engagement, which have guided my own empowerment to rise to senior officer level in the Coast Guard. For me, being bold empowered me to be one of the first female officers to serve aboard 2 Coast Guard cutters with all-male crews, patrolling the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and Caribbean Sea. Let's talk a little bit about this. I can't share with you the full presentation, but being bold, being first, being you. My rules of engagement. Let's attack the first one a little bit. Being bold is being daring, confident, even intrepid. And I looked it up, even plucky. A bold leader seeks engagement, is compassionate, empathetic, has feelings, and candor, and wants to know what his or her team's needs are. How about being first? Being first is empowering. It can be for an individual or a team. But sometimes I think, especially with the younger generation, they feel that all the firsts have been taken. Well, I would say not, especially in the situation we're in now, where we need to redefine our business. There's going to be plenty of firsts around for everyone. And being first takes leadership of the right kind. Sometimes, how about being the first to follow when the situation calls for it? Because do we know everything? And in fact, I think sometimes some of the best information comes from those we work with, those on our team, if we just give them a chance to be empowered. My last rule of engagement is be you. Be authentic to who you are, the jobs you want to do, your passions, and focus on being the best you can be while working hard to the best of your ability. Looking back at my decades in the Coast Guard, being an officer, a mother, and a wife, I faced challenges. I made plenty of mistakes, and at times I was even afraid. And I learned a lot along the way. I discovered my courage, how to be me, and I grew to become an empowering leader to help teams work through events of national significance. I can help you create your rules of engagement so you can weather the storm. Another area I'm passionate about is suicide prevention. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. It's also around the world. For me, it's very personal and has been a lifelong commitment. You see, I lost my older brother to suicide when I was a senior in high school. I learned how short and fragile life can be. And while in the military, I directed and co-produced a suicide prevention video to help the military train in that way. I also trained as an assist advocate, and I volunteer now with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I know with more awareness of the aftermath, we can prevent suicides. If suicidal people are aware and know about the massive void they leave behind, the tragedies that they create because of their loss. But you know what? We can make connections. We can help. So suicidal people will know they are not alone. We each have a place and a purpose in this life. And we are obligated to help others see the light when all they feel about them and surrounding them is darkness. We're obligated to help them return to the light and realize their purpose, their value, what they can be and can do. I'd love to talk more about this with your business, your team, with you. We are all in new territory. We are all in the same storm, in different boats, And I believe we can use our collective ingenuity, our compassion for others, our foresight and candor to see us through to safe harbor. Storms come and go. They don't last forever. And with each sunrise, we're given a new horizon, a landscape from which we have space to carve out our place, own it, empower each other and ourselves, lifting each other up. And I'd like to help empower you and your team to redefine what you can be and can do.
All right, Martha, awesome. Thank you. Obviously, an amazing message with a lot of years and years of experience in leadership. And I got to tell you, I mean, Martha touching upon the impact of suicide, I know it is a huge passion of mine, you know, focused on the mental health area. I think there's so many out there that are struggling, especially in the veteran space. So Martha, thank you for what you were doing. I know that you can deliver a powerful message of leadership on all sides.